Hey everyone, it's Dan, and today I'm going to be teaching how to overclock. But first things first, we got to go over some things. You can't take anything and overclock it. Number one, first of all, you got to have a motherboard that will enable you to be able to overclock. Now, picking your features, that's entirely up to you. Whether you want dual channel RAM, triple channel RAM. I myself, I have dual triple channel, which means I can actually run 24 gigabytes of RAM in triple channel. That's really nice. The other things you gotta look at is memory speed. You can have all the RAM in the world, but if it's running at 800 megahertz, well, it's slow as balls. Why would you want that? So more RAM is not necessarily better as fast RAM. Look at the guys that overclock. Liquid nitrogen. Those guys are like fucking, what do they run? They run like 1 gig of RAM. That's it, one stick. And it's fast too. 2500 megahertz. It's usually Corsair, Vengeance, or Dominator GT, but I hear the Vengeance will go higher if it's C10. So you gotta know that you can't take anything and overclock it. Knowing that, your next question is gonna be, okay, who should I go with? I went with Gigabyte. I bought the UD9. Now, is it the most reliable board? Hell no. It was supposed to be really reliable, but the problem was they launched the world's fastest motherboard and then the damn thing dies. It's something like 50% of people who bought the board got it, hooked it up, and it wouldn't fire up. I was actually one of them, and it sucked. Because then you lose your board for 3 months while it's being repaired. Actually, it's more like 2. There's that. You got to pick out a chip. You can overclock if it's Intel. You can overclock to some extent if it's not a Black Edition chip or an X, like the 990X. It's unlocked. So I'm going to show you the 960, overclocking that, and it's 1366 socket. If you're doing 775 socket or 1155 or 56, whatever the hell it is, that's like overclocking for dummies. It's a lot different. It's not a lot different, but it is a little different. And this, it kind of isn't really going to help you. So there's that. And then you got to say, okay, which way do you want to go? You want to go Intel or you want to go AMD? I went Intel. I'm going to tell you guys to go AMD. Save yourself a lot of money. If you don't have an overclockable computer, do yourself a favor, huge favor right now, and either light it on fire or sell it. Preferably sell it. Unless it's a Dell, burn that bitch. Now, you gotta know, Dells you can't overclock. Alienware, since they were bought out by Dell, Microsoft, whatever the fuck, Alienware was bought out by them a couple years ago. I don't know if it was like 6 years ago, whatever the hell. If you actually call the Alienware tech support hotline, they tell you. If your Alien computer was purchased before such date, you have to call a different number, because those computers you can overclock, which is really nice. Nowadays, all Alienware computers cannot be overclocked. No Dell can be overclocked. HP Gateway can't be overclocked. If you have a laptop, some Sony Vios, I called Sony, I didn't confirm it, but they said that some of them can be overclocked. I think they might be full of crap. Best bet is to go with somebody really good like Asus for a board. Yeah, that's what I'd say. I'd say Asus. Let's see, what else? What else we got to cover? I'm not going to show you how to overclock RAM. I'm going to just show you where the controls are for it. I'm going to give you a brief little thing how to do it, but we're not going to sit here and do that. That's very time consuming. What we're actually going to do in this video is I'm going to overclock my computer, because I put up another video showing you kind of how to do it. I've been trying to figure out a way to sit here and just tell you a little quick tutorial, but I find that the best way for you guys to learn how to do it and really kind of grasp the whole situation is for me to just sit there and do it. Now, thanks to YouTube being stupid, I can only make a 15-minute video. So as soon as I finish my cigarette, we're going to go inside, I'm going to restart it, go into the BIOS, drop it down to factory, and then slowly start cranking up. The only thing... this sucks. Yeah, you know what? I will do that. I will drop my voltage back down to automatic. Alright. There's voltage controls, base clock controls, and multipliers. And basically, when you bring the base clock up and you start bringing the multipliers up, you're going to have to increase voltage. Now, you don't want to go over 1.25 volts because that's Intel spec. and they sit there and they tell you, well, you don't know what the hell's going to happen if you go over, so you know, you'll burn out a chip, you'll blow a trace out. Now that's I fucked up my 990X because I did the same thing. I ran it too hot. But the biggest concern is feeding anything too much voltage. You feed anything too much voltage, and not only do you run the risk of burning out the component, but if you got a really cheap, shitty motherboard, like, you'll blow a trace right out of the board. And you don't want that, because then your board's fucked. So, yeah, this is done. Alright, let's get this started. Alright. Whoa, very dark in here. Well, I can't switch cameras on my phone. Alright, so as you can see, rocking the UD9, air cooled. And let's see here. Let's run you step by step through all this. Can you guys see the screen really well? Oh, it would help if the screen wasn't tilted. Alright, now different BIOSes are going to tell you to hit different buttons to get into them, different boards. Mine is delete. Alright, now this, let me see here, how well can you see? You can see pretty good. You see how I have these controls? Now I'm going to go into the tweaker. Can you guys see this really well? I'm going to go into the tweaker. And then I'm going to go into advanced frequency settings. And right now I'm running 3.8 gigahertz. I'm just going to drop this all the way down. Give me 12 here. Give me 12 there. Oh, damn it. Give me 12 there. Actually, I'm going to go to 14. I'm going to go to 14. And Intel spec is 133 base clock. Now I'll show you guys that. The uncore you want to drop down to 14. Your CPU clock ratio you want to drop down to 14. And your base clock stock is going to be 133. You're also going to want to go into your system memory multiplier, your RAM, and you're going to, wrong button, you're going to want to drop that down to 6. Now, stock I run 1066. I want to be below stock, because as you can see right now, the 133 times 6 is 800. Well, if I bring that up to like 145, you can see I am kind of overclocking my RAM, just the way everything's tied in. So we're going to go right to 140. Everything checks out good. We're going to save these settings. F10, right? And we're going to boot. Now right here, this is considered overclocking. How much time do I have left on this video? I'm at 9 minutes, alright. Now stock on 960 is 3.2 gigahertz. As you can see, I'm going to be running well below that. But right now what we're trying to do is you're trying to find your maximum base clock. Because then once you find your max base clock, you can sit there and bring up the multipliers to put you at whatever speed you want to be at. Now, no, you can't go get a really cheap chip and think that you're going to run 5 gigahertz on it. Not going to happen. You want to hit 5 gigahertz, you're going to have to sit there and run a 980X or 990X. AMD wise, I forgot what the hell they call it. But obviously it's going to be the highest end AMD chip. Fuck off. Alright. So, then what you're going to do, like I said, this is time consuming, is you're going to open up Prime 95 and you're going to run stress tests. And we want maximum heat power, some RAM tested. Maximum FPD stress, fuck off. We want to run the smalls. Now we'll do the large. And you're going to basically want to run this for 10 minutes. Make sure you have a nice stable overclock. Now, you saw that said 8 threads. You need to know how many threads you have. If you have 4 cores, you have 8 threads, because you have 4 physical cores and 4 virtual cores. So obviously I'm not going to sit here and run this for 10 minutes because I don't need to do that. I already know my answer. I'm just going to close that. You should also at the same time have a hardware monitor open. I like CPU ID's hardware monitor. It's really nice. I'll show you that real quick, because it shows me my core temps right there. So drop that down. And so like I said, you run that for 10 minutes. You're watching your hardware temps to make sure that your cores don't go over 90 degrees C. And after you run that for 10 minutes, no problems, you're going to do another restart. How are we looking at time? 11 minutes? Alright. Now if you have a Mac, I didn't say this before, you probably can't overclock a Mac. I don't even like Mac garbage. Yes, they made the iPod. Great. iPad. Pretty cool. A Mac computer? Garbage. Throw it away. Go get yourself a nice laptop that you can overclock and put OS X on it. You will have a laptop that's 1, a little bit cheaper than a MacBook Pro. 2, is a lot faster than a MacBook Pro. And 3, what more could you possibly want? Speed, performance, and low cost. Alright, so now we're going to kick this up again. We're going to step this up to 150. We're going to bring up the uncore. We're not going to bring up the clock ratio. We're going to F10 this bitch. We're going to restart. So, I have nice BIOS controls, which you can kind of see right there. C1 state, and then she's going to go fully functional. She's going to go FF. At 75, I load the BIOS, which is right there. And then I go fully functional. Boom. Now, what's nice about this is I got voltage controls. The blue light there is for how much I've overclocked, like stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. None of the other voltage lights are on, so you can't really see that. But as I start cranking everything up, those lights are going to start lighting up. You're going to see the lights kicking on, more voltage to the CPU, more voltage to the RAM. North and south bridge lights are going to start coming on. But right about here, you guys might actually have it might freeze for you. That's because you got to kick up your voltage. Now, my voltage is already set to, hang on a second, let me check the password. My voltage is set to 1.265, I believe. Let me restart. Let me see how much time is left. We're at 13 minutes. Alrighty. But this is basically overclocking. This is it. You're going to sit here, you're going to invest time, and that's pretty much it. It's just a very time-consuming thing. Part 2, I'm going to show you me taking this all the way up to 4 gigahertz, maybe 4.5. We'll see how high I can go. There's the voltage lights. As you can see, they started kicking on. Alright, now, as you go up, you're going to want to increase your voltage, because the whole idea here is to be at the highest clock, lowest voltage. But if you want to save yourself some trouble, just set it to Intel spec 1.25. I have mine set, as you can see, to 1.2625, which is 1 notch over. No, it's 2 notches over. So it's not like I'm feeding a 1.2 volt chip, 12 volts. So it's no big, huge deal. But part 2, I'm going to show you more, and I'm going to show you on a better camera.